A very warm welcome to all of you who have joined us today for the October 2025 edition of our monthly talk series. Whenever we think about the Brihadisvara temple at Thanjavur, our minds immediately rise to the soaring Vimana structure of that temple. Its scale, size, grandeur, and the sheer genius of Chola architecture. But hidden within the dark corridors of this temple is another treasure, a little less known, that of the Chola murals belonging to the times of Rajaraja Chola, accidentally rediscovered in the 20th century. These murals are vivid, vibrant, fluid, and narrative rich, and actually give us a rare insight into the Chola court, their religious world, their imagination, and aesthetic sensibilities. This modern journey of these murals is equally significant with their recovery, restoration, and documentation by the Archaeological Survey of India. In 2004, ASI initiated the challenging and difficult project of photo documenting these floor to ceiling murals that are located in the dark and narrow corridors of the circumambulatory path around the Sanctum Sanctorum of the Brihadisvara temple, thus bringing to light the images and details contained in these murals. Through their careful and rigorous photography, tracing, and analysis, ASI ensured that these hidden treasures that were difficult to see, perceive, or appreciate were now available to us in a public domain where they could be studied, analyzed, celebrated, and shared with future generations. We are extremely fortunate to have with us today S Sriraman, retired archaeologist from ASI, who led the above initiative. He has also written a book about this project where he gives detailed descriptions about these murals and highlights hitherto unknown facts about the themes depicted here. Almost 2 decades later, when Sriraman looks back at these images, he is able to discern new dimensions and perspectives in these masterpieces of art. In his lecture today that he'll be delivering soon, he will be sharing with us his own enriching experience of leading this challenging initiative and the outcomes thereof. He'll of course be talking about the classicism of Chola art, but not the least, he will be making us realize that the greatness of these murals does not belong to Chola grandeur alone, but equally to the scholarship, preservation, and documentation of ASI that ensure that these gems from the past are available to us today. It is through endeavors like this that past beauties from Indian heritage are kept alive even in today's context. Before we move on to the main program, I'd like to give you a brief introduction about Tamil Heritage Trust, which is our organization. Tamil Heritage Trust or Tamil Paramparya Arakattalai is a voluntary organization started almost 15 years back by a group of like-minded people with the explicit objective of understanding, appreciating, disseminating, and celebrating information related to India's rich history and heritage, not just for the scholarly and the academic minded, but the enthusiastic public as well. Towards this end, THT conducts programs throughout the year. Chief amongst these are our talks and seminars. Our flagship event is, of course, this monthly Heritage Talk series, and we are extremely proud to say that we have conducted this program uninterrupted for almost 15 years now. We merely changed the mode from in-person event to online through and post-Corona. Pecha Kacheri is another event of ours conducted in the month of December, which is a 2-day in-person event meant to collaborate with the Margari Isai Kacheris of Chennai. Indology Festival is a most scholarly and academic event that we conduct in June. Over 6 days, 12 scholars come online to discuss various aspects of a topic and give fresh dimensions to it. Apart from our talks and seminars, we also conduct various workshops. We have one-day workshops where in the forenoon session lectures are given, and in the afternoon participants are taken to site where we elucidate what was discussed earlier. We have Hausan, which is how to see a museum, and we conducted the last session of it in the month of June. And Hausat, which is how to see a temple, the last session of which was conducted in August. We're extremely happy to say that we had 30 plus participants in each of these workshops and who went out as very happy folks at the end of it. We also conduct on and off classroom sessions on a variety of topics like Pallava Grantham script, ancient Indian astronomy, ancient Indian mathematics, etc. Alamaravai, another initiative of ours, is where school teachers of Tamil Nadu participate. Over a series of weekend lectures, aspects of the Indian history and heritage are discussed, the idea being that they take them back to their students, further spreading awareness. Docent training is another initiative of ours, where a training is given to prepare docents to present historical sites and heritage monuments in a professional manner to an enthusiastic audience. Currently, our docent training 3 is on. Site seminar is another activity of ours, which is largely in-house, meant for self-education and self-enhancement. We zero in upon a particular site anywhere in India, and our volunteers study the same in detail. Then we have a series of in-house seminars, and then armed with all this knowledge, we visit these sites and experience them in their totality. We also try to come back and document what we have seen. From the Tamil Heritage Trust, we have also instituted 2 awards. The first such award is named after our founder member called Professor S Swaminathan Heritage Award and is given for individual contributions in the field of Indian history and heritage. The winner for the year 2025 was Falak Chaudhary from Bombay, and it's only last month that we had the award presentation and winner's lecture. The other award that we give is called P. Venkaya Epigraphy Award and is given for individual contributions in the field of Indian epigraphy. Named after V. Venkaya, who was the first official Indian epigraphist, this award was instituted by his great-granddaughter, Sunita Madhavan. THT has been entrusted with the responsibility of administering this award. This year, the award was given to senior epigraphist from Karnataka, Professor Srinivas V. Padigar. We have a dedicated YouTube channel, and you will find links to all our programs here, all our past talks, right down to today's talk. Kindly subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to receive notifications of future events. These are our social media handles. We have a website, Facebook, Twitter. To join our mailing list, you can mail us at this address. We are a voluntary organization. We do not have any dedicated financial backing. So any kind of contributions are welcome. You may use this QR code or this ID to contribute generously. Any kind of contributions will be welcome. Now moving on to today's talk, as I already mentioned, PG Sriraman, who led the photo documentation project of the Chola Murals, found in the dark circumambulatory of the Sanctum Sanctorum of the Brihadisvara temple, will share with us the objectives, methodology, and outcomes of the project, how entire images and their detailed parts were brought to light, the initial appreciation for the murals, and how they were made digitally available on public domains. He will then share newer interpretations of some of the panels while exploring ideas of whether the murals are merely Chitrasalas of images, decorative in nature, or a tool like the inscriptions in temples that record contemporary events. To know a little bit about Sriraman, he retired as a superintendent archaeologist from ASI in 2019, and apart from the Chola mural project, he has worked on many other unique endeavors like excavations at Banahalli, Kolar district, a proto-historic site, at Gingee, a medieval site, and at Keeladi and Kodumanal, early historic sites in Tamil Nadu. He has worked on reorganization of the museums at Fatehpur Sikri and Kalibangan and managed museums at Lothal, Fort St. George, Chennai, and Hampi. He has also worked on conservation of forts of Chittorgarh, Kumbhalgarh, and Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. As I already told you, he authored a book on Chola murals. Apart from that, he has also authored another book on the murals of Tira Sujanpur, both of which have been published by the Archaeological Survey of India. Without further ado, I request Sriraman to take over the screen and deliver his lecture. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Good evening. Good evening to all the participants in this talk.
We're not getting the audio.
Are you getting it now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Good evening to all. It's indeed a real great pleasure for me to address the Tamil Heritage Trust audience once again. In fact, when I completed this project in around 2004-2005, the first public talk on these subjects were delivered to Tamil Heritage Trust. Before that, it was not made public. I am really very happy that they have called me again to share my experiences, my findings on these murals. It must be around, I think, 15 to 16 years afterwards, I'm again sharing it. Okay. So now we'll go into the presentation. Can you see the first slide? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. So as I said, this talk is going to be focusing on these points. I'm going to give you a brief introduction about the documentation and the need for it, why we did the documentation, particularly the concept on parts versus whole, and the outcome of the documentation. As you see on the right side, there's a small image is there. And if you see the card prepared for this talk, you can see a very part of this image was taken there. But actually, it's what you see on the right side is the whole one. This is what is happening with the Chola murals. Everywhere in all the publication before our documentation, the murals were represented in parts, in small pieces, small figures. It was nothing was in whole. What is there inside, except you go there and see, you will not be able to know. So that was our motivation to begin this project. And the next part, I am going to take a few appreciations, some parts of the whole panel. I'm not going in detail the description of each and every panel because that will take quite a long time. Then I am going to answer two questions: whether the murals are or a tool of recording contemporary events like the inscriptions, or merely a Chitrasala or a gallery of images. And based on this question, I was able to reinterpret three panels with a new perspective, which I am going to tell you. And finally, I am going to give my conclusion as the exclusivity of the Chola murals in the classical tradition of Indian art. So before that, I want to give a very brief introduction about the temple. All of you may be knowing about this temple, and it was built by the Rajaraja the Great, exactly about 1010 years back. This temple was not complete when he died. Later on, many other later additions were taken place. Now you can see the entire plan of this temple. Parts of it were constructed during Rajaraja Chola's period. Then the Amman shrine was added during the Pandya's period. Then that Nataraja Sabha was added during Pandya's period, and then later on the Subramanya shrine and the shrine and the mandapa in front of the Amman shrine was added during during the Nayaka period, and the Marathas have also added like a Maratha Arts College just outside this temple. And as everyone knows, it's an outstanding architecture. Just I am giving you some of the proportions. The main shikara is about 59.82 meters tall, and you can see how linearly the main shikara and all the Mahadwaras were arranged, how exactly the linga was placed at the center of this rear square. And this itself is a very big topic to talk about, which you can see it's all published. You can go through them. And what we say today is a supply chain management. We are all very much excited about it. And just imagine 1,000 years back, the king was able to move tremendous amount of resources, not only material, also men, from a very long distances. Many people know that, all of you know that the stones are moved for about at least 60 to 70 kilometers away from the site, and the total quantity was something around 1 million cubic meters. And the amount of sand, the amount of lime, the amount of iron ore that converted into iron chisel. Then we want stapatis. It must have been an enormous amount of mobilization of resources of men and material. And at a time when the transportation communication was that much well developed. So it's just, you have to imagine this. And beyond that, the king conceptualized the entire temple as a repository of records, just like an archives today. There are long inscriptions. One of them is very foundational, where he says that I constructed this temple. And not only that, there he records that whatever I gave, whatever my sister gave, whatever everybody has given should be recorded on the walls of the Srivimana. But unfortunately, space there was very small. They have to record it everywhere in the temple, on the prakaras and all other places. And the recording was very meticulous. Each and every detail of the donations were recorded, and he has provided for everything, not only fixed assets, also movable assets, also human resources for maintaining and running the temple, like accountants, watchmen, dancers, musicians, embraces, everything. You just think of even a small aspect, he has taken care of it, and he has provided for that, so that the temple will remain as a vibrant institution for a very long time to come. And now we are going into, and what you see on your left side of the screen is the person who discovered the murals. He also um, um, decorated that temple with murals, but unfortunately, he did not do it publicly outside on the outer walls. But it shows a very small passages around the sanctum, and which was closed after, probably after Nayaka period of during Maratha period, from all the sides. And Professor S.K. Govindaswamy, unfortunately, we lost him at a very young age of 35. He is of Annamalai University. He discovered this paintings on the 11th April, I mean, 9th April of 1931, and he published it in a small article in the Hindu at the time, for which he says that I have little doubt, judging from the excellence of the drawing, the color scheme, and the fresco technique, that these paintings belong to the best period of the Chola rule, to the glorious reign of Rajaraja the Great, and contemporary with the building of the great temple of Thanjavur. Many did not accept at that time, but later on they have to accept it that. And even the discovery was very momentous for him, because he has to break open a small masonry wall, go inside with a small Petromax light along with his friend. And in that Petromax light, some places where the Nayaka layer is peeled off, he has to remove them and discover the Chola layers beneath. So now I will show you right around this sanctum sanctorum. There is a small space is there where the Chola murals were discovered. In addition to that, murals were found all over the temple, along the prakara, in the mantaba, in front of the Subramanya shrine, and in front of the Amman shrine, and other right above the Nandi Mantapa. They all belonging to the later period of Marathas, and the Chola layers were painted during Nayaka period. They were covered and overpainted with the Nayaka period. So now I'll show you. Actually, these Nayaka layers have to be removed wherever possible to expose the Chola layer. You can see just this a modern effort which took place in 2000 place. How we used to remove the Nayaka layer. So first they used to mark that which place they have to remove, then they'll apply a sort of an strengthening cloth or for over that, and then slowly they'll be able to remove the strip the Nayaka layer. This is a very laborious and tedious project. Very carefully it was excavated. But in 1945, to the best of my knowledge, the Nayaka layer was sacrificed. But after 1980s, 90s, 80s onwards, the Archaeological Survey of India was able to strip the Nayaka layer separately, and these things were preserved. So let us not go into details again. Again, this is a very long, long topic. So now let me go into the actual the talk. First, let me go through the brief instruction about the documentation exercise, what we did there. See, this is the picture of the inside of the Pradakshina Pada. You can see it's a very small area of about 6 to 7 feet between the walls. And each panel, you can see it is right from the floor to the ceiling, which is about 15 feet. And the breadth is about 10 feet. And in some cases, the panels are also going on through these offsets also. This is a nightmare for any photographer because a photography requires some sort of a distance and light. Both are not available here. So the initial, when the photography was in a nascent stage, when it was in a black and white photography made on film format and made with artificial lights like flashlights, the photographers were not able to cover the whole panel in one stretch. It was a little bit difficult for them. So what they did actually was started taking small pictures wherever the painting is well preserved and very beautiful. And these were published in the books or used in the illustrations during the talks by the scholars. Even if you go there and stand in front of that panel with very limited light available to you, you will not be able to understand, correlate the figures. If, for example, your eye level may be about somewhere here. Suppose if you want to see the images right on the top, it will be impossible because the light will be very less. Even by the time you strain your eyesight and you're able to pick up the figures, you will lose the connectivity between the figures found there and found below. So this is the problem even the scholars they had. Even the scholars, even though they spent a lot of time inside, were able to see the whole thing physically. They were unable to interpret it in the correct manner. So we took up this documentation essentially that we want to bring the whole because the artist designed the whole panel and he executed it in the whole in one big 15 feet by 10 feet area. But unfortunately, because of the location along the circumambulatory, very small space, even physical examination of these murals were very difficult. Even in the case of photography, it is even more difficult because lack of space and lack of light. So think of a scholar who is sitting somewhere in US or somewhere in abroad. First of all, you will not be allowed to go inside the production Pata due to religious conditions, strictures. So what he did was whatever the photographers had supplied to him, the small pieces of photographs, mostly taken from an angle with a flash and all these things, they were able to interpret and appreciate these murals. So when we were discussing about this project, we thought that okay, it has to be brought as a whole. Is it possible? So that is what we tried. Okay, first one thing we tried is whether we can draw it out by using an artist because this method was tried at Ajanta and as well as at Badami, and it was quite successful. But the artist here, they said it is impossible because again, there are so many figures in a panel, it will be impossible for a reproduction. So we have to take up a photographic reproduction. So in 2004, when we took the project, and I'll tell you why the whole and part is a thing. What you are seeing on the left side is what the normal figure, what is identified as an Rajaraja and Karuvur Tevar. If you see on the right side, I will show you. This is actually the full image of it. But normally it is cropped and published. Saying that, they say, oh, this is Rajaraja, this is Karur, they were very beautiful. This is what, this is all about Chola murals. With this, the appreciation of Chola mural it is ended. So in fact, that is not the case. These two figures, they are occupying a most inconspicuous corner of the entire assemblage, entire murals. From there, it was picked out and shown as an representative of the Chola murals. Even though they are very beautifully executed, they were not shown in full because the images, the both the persons depicted there were having, they were depicted in full standing with on an this one. In fact, if you take the whole this one, there is some unpainted portion is also there below, and if you see, there are two more figures on the top of it. So this is the whole thing. Even a small conspicuous thing, the whole thing is completely been not shown to the public, but where shown is a very small figure, which was they were able to take easily a good photograph. So this lacuna is what we want to avoid in our, or we want to eradicate in our, eliminate in our documentation. So it was a very difficult one. Because in 2004 there was a nascent stage when the digital cameras have come. I think it was Nikon D100. D70 was the first digital camera of the Nikon. The D100 we got, and at that time when we started doing these things, so we said with the whatever the thing we have to do is we have to take it in pieces and montage it. At that time the computers are working on a 512 MB RAM, which is the highest one. Normally it will be half of it only will be there, and the monitor will be at 14-inch CRT monitor. In that we have to do all sorts of digital work. You just think of it, how much difficult it would have been, and we did. And this is what the image, what you see on the right side is one whole panel I've shown you. So the methodology we took was that we said we have to take small pieces and then join them, montage them. Nowadays, we have got very fast and quick software image, I mean, packages to montage various, I mean, several images. But at that time, we had a Photoshop. I think it may be the first or second or third this one of that Photoshop. In that, we have took more than about 40 pictures are there in one single frame. In this one single image, there are 40 frames are there, 40 camera images are there, that we have to join them on a 512 MB computer with a small 14-inch CRT monitor. And unfortunately or unfortunately, that Nikon D100 had a raw format option. So we shot it raw format because we wanted later on, we wanted to have a bigger reproductions of these murals for showcasing it outside for the public. So each time we had 10 to 12 MB images, this needs to be worked and joined. Like that, as you go further at the end of the 40th frame, you just think of the amount of the size of the file in a PSD file, and in a very 512 RAM thing, how much time it would have taken for us to save the last thing. Now we have got, I think, 12 GB RAM or even 24 GB RAM with a huge screen to monitor everything. But with that we did, but it was a satisfactory image we were able to produce without a loss of perspective and without the loss of color also, because lighting here is also a very difficult thing, because the Archaeological Survey of India has applied a coat of polyvinyl acetate, which is sort of a removable acrylic preservative that was reflecting the light a lot. So we have to avoid that reflection of the light also. So this is a detail of that one single image. Now we can see how we did. Actually, we have erected a platform on which the camera used to move frame by frame by frame. So each panel were either 36 panels, 36 frames, or 40 frames, depending upon our overlapping things. So we have to we cannot draw these lines as we have drawn in the graphics. We have to keep everything in mind in each and every photo, every frame which was shot. Then we have to control the light. Direct light is not possible. We need to have a sort of a light which is even on all the four corners. It was really a challenging effect. And in fact, we the time took for us to cover this entire one panel was one full day. Full day means morning 6:30 to night 1:32. After that only we'll be able to come. We cannot leave any panel half and come out. We have to complete it and then come out. We are able to complete this challenging documentation, later on processing it on computer, bringing out the single image of each panel. So that was our when we did it, it was really satisfactory one. And since they are all digital image, with a very high resolution and high size, I was able to see them on the computer very, very closely so that many reinterpretation was possible. These things were not available for my earlier scholars. Obviously, they were not able to do justice to that interpretation at that time. Now, I will show you that what you see on the screen now is for the bottom or the four camera images, and then we have worked it for joining them in Photoshop. Then you can see how we have joined one single row. So like that, there are 10 rows are there in this particular one full panel. So like that, we have got 7 panels are there in the entire Chola. I think we didn't do the Nayaka thing. There are 7 panels are there in Chola murals. So it was really a tough job. It took about for about an year for us to conceptualize, do experimentation, then perfect our technique of lighting, technique of photography, technique of joining and everything, and ultimately to bring these 7 images to the public. Now I think we will go. Now you can see this is a small space where, and these are the 7 panels. The 7 panels after the present interpretation. Normally the panel 1 is taken to be Dakshinamurti, but that is not the case. Now I have identified it as a sage teaching his royal disciples, who may be Rajaraja. The sage may be his guru. Then we have got a beautiful representation of story of the Sundara. It's only 2 episodes from his very eventful life was taken up and that was depicted there. Then there is a panel on the 3 which was very for a very very long time, including myself in the earlier attempts, which we have taken it as a Rajaraja worshipping Nataraja, but that is not the case. In fact, there Rajaraja has documented graphically one of the legend which we were considering till today as a legend, but yes, instead of documenting it on the inscriptions here documented here, that is the retrieval of the Tirupatiyam Kajjan leaves from Chidambaram. But otherwise, we are always taken it to be Rajaraja worshipping of Nataraja. Then we have got in opposite to it, I have already identified that as a Rajaraja worshipping Linga and recitation of Tirupatiyam, but there the entire court of Rajaraja is very beautifully depicted, and one seer or one sage or one great person is giving some sort of a sermon. When you put 3 and 4 together, we can always take, now I can get it confirmed that on one side, he has documented his effort of retrieving the Tirupadiam, that is the verses of the 3 great Nayanmars, Appar Sundar and Sambandar, and that was classified into 7 Tirumurais, and probably that was recited to everybody in that was documented, the recitation was documented in 4. And on 5 is Kalyan Sundaramurti, that is Shiva's and Parvati's marriage is depicted. In that you can see a small offset here. The small offset is where that the image which was identified as Rajaraja and Karur Devar is depicted. But what we have to take is we have to take the entire chamber depicting one single theme. Then we have got the next chamber, we have got panel 6 and 7. 6 is the great Tripurantaka, which I've shown a little bit before, and the 7 is the Ravana shaking Kailasa. What is there in the other places, we do not know, because the Nayaka layer is very intact there, very strong there. So we did not attempt to remove those Nayaka layers. And as of now, if you see 1, 2, 3, and 4 are contemporary events or an event that happened during his lifetime or slightly before, and 5 and 7 are 5, 6, and 7 are purely imageries of God. Probably this portion of that Pradakshinapada was devoted to depict the secular themes or contemporary events or something like that. Then probably from that corner onwards, it might have been the the display of divine images of various forms of Shiva. So now we have also prepared the line drawings. The first I am showing you the first panel. This is actually a Dakshinamurti, what is identified as a Dakshinamurti panel, but my identification is this actually sage is teaching his royal disciple. On left side, you can see the complete panel and its offsets also. On the right side, you can see the line drawing. The line drawings were prepared by one of our friends based on the original which we have given to them. So based on that originally, yes, just overdrawn it digitally and then prepared it. Here you can very clearly see, and we will be going to see this image in more detail later on. The next image is the Sundarar's story. The story of the Sundaramurti Nayanar is a very one of the most important Shiva Bhaktas or Nayanmar of the 63 Nayanmars, one of the foremost three. His life is very eventful, and his Tirupadiyams gives many of his events that occurred in his life. Whereas here the artist has taken only two important events in his life. That is, the one is the Tadkoludal, where Shiva comes to his marriage and says that you are my slave, which the entire people did not accept because according to them, a Brahmin boy cannot be a slave of anyone. But he produces an evidence which was given by his forefathers, a small palm leaf in which his forefathers has written it and given it to them, but that was not accepted by all. And then they ask for the original. The original, they say that it is there in his Thiruvannainallur village, where Shiva goes and shows the original and then disappears into the Thiruvannai temple. Here you can see where the cooking scene is going on the top of his everybody is occurred, where Shiva comes and presents his case. Then the next panel is shows where the Shiva shows the original of the evidence. Then the last one is a Thiruvannai Nallur temple where Shiva goes and enters. And then Sundara understands his previous birth and becomes a Nayanmar, started singing. The next one is directly that the artist has taken to the last of the event happened in his life, where the Shiva sends the Indra Sairavata, and in which he travels through then to Kailasa along with his great friend Sundaramurti Nayanar. I think about this particular panel, I have given a very detailed talk to TST. I think probably that recording may be available on the internet. This is one what for a very long time, including myself, are thinking that is Rajaraja is worshipping Nataraja in Chidambaram. Whereas this you can very clearly see that Chidambaram roof temples are recopied here. Absolutely, there is no doubt that this is depicts two sabhas of Chitsabha and Kanakasabha of Chidambaram temple, in which one where we have got a very beautiful and brilliant depiction of Nataraja. On the other Sabha, where Rajaraja along with his three queens are there. And all around in the offsets also you can see that there are a number of persons, including his officials, his it is elephant caps and elephant caps and horses are all assembled there outside. How I reinterpreted this, let me come back a little bit later. I am not going to go through in detail. This is another completely damaged panel, which on the site, many of my previous great scholars, my gurus, were unable to understand this panel. So many people are able to clearly see here Rajaraja is worshipping a linga here. So they said it is one. But below that is another event that is depicted. Uh, this I was able to do it because I was able to see this digital image repeatedly by enlarging at this one. Here, if you see that here a small one person is sitting here. On the left side is the Rajaraja's court is shown in a rather protocol way. First, we have got the Guru, then we are the representation of Rajaraja, then we have got a representation of Rajendra. In fact, this very small, preserved, very youthful figure gave me the clue to identify the entire assemblage. And if you see the protocol, the guru comes first, the king, then the regent king, or who is the co-king. Then there are some two more spaces are vacant, and again we are getting the same three queens here. And below are the royal ladies are seated in two or three rows. On the right side, we have got officials who are seated. On the bottom of the officials, if you see that very closely in that image, they are all very orderly dressed. And as you go in the next and next row, they are all well dressed. And two or one or two officials there, they carry a big bunch of palm leaves. So then I started thinking, who are they? Then I came to when I studied the inscription, in the Chola bureaucracy, there are two officials were there. One is Tirumandira Olai, the other is the Olai Nayagam. These two people's, these two category of officers' job is to, one is to take down the oral instructions or of the king, maybe a donation of a land to some deity in some corner of the thing, and then that will be transcribed by the Ole Nayagams, and that will be sent to the particular place where it will be received in with great fanfare, and it will be executed there. So then I was able to understand these two are very important thing. They are even in this meeting, they are ready with palm leaf, either to take down the orders of the king or to read out what he has given before. So such an very obedient officials were there. And if you see these images, can I zoom பண்ண முடியுமா? I'll just zoom it and then show you if it is possible. So you can see, you can see this one, how this a very young face of Rajendra is shown here, and the three queens. These are all royal ladies, and on the right side there is a space in between them. So both the groups are sitting facing each other. On these sides we have got officials, and one official was sitting out of the way, completely out of the way. And when I saw it very closely, I was able to see this gentleman is this officer is holding a sword also. There is only one person who is eligible to carry a sword in such an august assembly. That must be his uh, general, who is Krishnan Raman. And the Krishnan Raman seems to be a very important person in the entire bureaucracy, and he was able to donate the entire prakara of the temple, which is almost 50% in the volume of the main temple. So he was that much powerful and resourceful. So obviously he has got the right to come inside the entire assemblage with the sword, and also sit out of the way also. And here you can see that one figure sitting, and that is what is giving discourse. On these sides you can see a lot of Shiva Bhaktas are sitting, and then all of them are carrying a small symbols in this, which is again an indication of singing, and it must be of Tirupati. That is why even then itself I had concluded that this must be that Nambi and Nambi who you actually compiled the entire Tirupati verses and is giving, and that has been graphically documented by Rajaraja here. And on the top of it, you can see this portion is very clear. Rajaraja is worshipping this linga, and if you look at very closely, there is a small painting of Nataraja is kept there. This is actually framed painting, and the whole thing is happens in a very big room, very big hall. If you want to see, you can see it in the drawing side. Very clearly, it is I have given based on that. You can see that how there is a passage in between. Then we have got on the left side, we have got this one, and this one group is very interesting. There are a lot of people are sitting. So I found that maybe the royal offsprings, because they cannot come and sit in the next row. They cannot sit along with the king. So they were grouped and made to sit in a separate place. So if the digital documentation was not done, and if we did not have the big image, and if we did not have a good system to look at in my office room or in my study room, I would not have been able to identify this. Like all my seniors or all my senior scholars have identified, they said that some female figures are there. Rajaraja is worshipping linga, like that it might have gone. So now let me go to the next thing. This is actually the depiction of Shiva Parvati, and part of this depiction is that what we have seen, what has been shown as Rajaja Karutevar, is there in fact a lot of semi-divine people have been shown there on the top and on the sides. In fact, these four images found the small offset should also be the semi-divine images who have come down from the heavens or from the Kailasa to witness this great event of this one. So this is another side of it. So here this we get a very beautiful depiction of Tripurantaka, which I don't want to go in detail about it. Then we have got an highly eroded, completely gone an image of Ravana shaking Kailas. Again, this with the digital image only I was able to see actually this portion where you can see the number of hands, and Ravana is playing the playing actually a sort of a Kudamura kind of rhythm, and he's actually chanting Samaveda to please Shiva there. So these are all the 7 images. In fact, I rushed through. In fact, it will take at least an hour to see each and every image as I have seen it. So now I'll go to the brief appreciation of 2 panels only. Again, starting with the quote from the preeminent or eminent art historian of India, C. Sriraman. He's very beautifully summed up the entire thing.
Can you take the mic closer to your?
Sorry. It's a part of. If expression has to be taken as the criterion, see how beautifully explains it, by which a great art has to be judged. It is here in abundance in these Chola paintings. Of course, he was able to see it in person. That's another matter. The sentiment of heroism, that is Veerarasha, is clearly seen in the Tripurantaka's face and form. The figures and attitude of the Rakshasas, veiling tear-stained faces of the women, suggest an emotion of piety, Karuna, and terror, that is Raudra. The commingling of emotions is complete in this, which is a jumble of Veera Raudra. This is only for this image. In fact, if Shivaramurti was able to see all my digital images, you would have said this commingling of emotion is there everywhere in all the panels. In fact, one of my talk was just commingling of emotions uh, found in this one. So I'm going to just show you how brilliantly this was this one to appreciate. So you can see the emotions or in the face of these rakshasas. And what this lady is doing in a very fierce battlefield, we do not know. She's coming and trying to stop that the Rakshasa, which is not going to listen. You can see that compare the expression of the faces of both. In fact, I'm going to show you a very small, that is the poor deer in the hands of Shiva. See, actually, Shiva did not kill this Rakshasa because we're all Shiva Bhaktas. Actually, he said Atahasa. It's just I mean, Hungara. Just when he said they did like this, the deer get disturbed from its original position of left hand of Shiva. And what's it that artist was so I mean sensitive to this movement. See, anyone when somebody pushes you, you're not going to stand still. You are going to move away from your space. That he has captured very beautifully. I'll show you that image. On the right side, you can see how that small poor deer was thrown away from its hand. Otherwise, where he was peacefully resting for a long. And you just see the eyes of that deer. He's afraid. He doesn't know whether he's going to come back and be placed in the same place or is going to fall back. So he's looking at his master. Sir, what are you going to do? Are you going to take me back, or am I going to fall elsewhere? So this is kind of expression this artist was able to bring almost in all the figures here. So now I am going to show you a very interesting depiction where the artist has taken some sort of leniency to this. This is again, I'm coming back to the sage teaching his royal disciples, where the sage is seated here in a cave. You can see the cave lane is very clearly shown. You can see the cave lane is shown here, and the sage is seated here. And on the top of it, on the top of the hillock, he's not directly sitting under a banyan tree, but right on the top of the hillock, there is the banyan tree, which is very sacred because it is being worshipped by two Siddha Purushas. But this is not the banyan tree which is generally depicted above Dakshinamurti. If it's a Dakshinamurti, this banyan tree becomes part and parcel of the depiction, and an artist would not have taken much liberty in depict that. He would have shown it in a static way, like you get in the images of Dakshinamurti, which is always found on the southern edge. Instead of that, what I'll show you this one. I'll enlarge it and show you. See, this is one. See, this also the Purushas are worshipping it. And the sage is sitting inside the cave in a hillock, which is infested with other rishis, and this one with all the animals, including lion, deer, sardulas, and even there is this one. And right about the perched on the top of the summit of the hillock, we have an depiction of an this one. I'll show you the next one. This is actually the tree. Actually, this tree depicts, if you see on one closer look, there is an, you can see that, you can see this one snake, which is serpent, or which is just climbing above the thing. Then you can see this one monkey here, one monkey here, one monkey here. There's all, and a lot of birds. It's a very simple depiction, but that is not the case. Actually, as what happened when the serpent entered the banyan tree, all other animals which are perched on top of the banyan trees gets disturbed at the entry of the new person. And in fact, this serpent is not a very ordinary one, and he has already eaten something. As you can see, the portion below his hood is bulged. So, and he is coming with all his tongues lashing. What I heard from people, those who are doing this primate behavior thing, the monkeys and snakes, they never enjoyed good relationship. The moment the monkey sees a snake, they will try to run away. And you can just see the serpent is coming like this, and this monkey is directly in the line of attack. So this monkey definitely knows that this serpent is going to come and attack. You just see the legs of the monkeys where the artist have drawn, because the monkey is running away in fear, and you just see the fear in his eyes, and all the legs are not placed properly on the branches of the tree, and it is going about to fall down because it is running, and he has lost his balance. Only an artist can, is able to visualize this. There's one more monkey here sitting with his back turned towards the snake, doesn't know what is happening behind, but it is alert, but he was not aware of the snake has already entered into the tree, and he has not yet, is running away. And you can just see this monkey has already escaped from the snake, from the line of attack, the snake, and you can see his quiet place is well, all his legs are all the four legs are well placed on the branch of tree, but still it is very much terrified at the look. And above all, if you see this particular monkey, you see that it is waiting and watching. Suppose if the snake turns towards him, he will take an evasive action, but till that time he's just watching what is going to happen because of the entry. And all the other birds are agitated. This parrot, sorry, this peacock, which is looking down what is happening. And obviously these owls are not knowing what is happening there, because probably it may be happening during a daytime. And this kind of a play, or a depiction of a momentary a moment in the banyan tree, which is full of life and vigor, would not have this artist would not have attempted if it is a normal Dakshinamurti depiction. If you go and see any Dakshinamurti depiction in any temple, there will be this Pokkanam, there will be this monkey, there will be this snake, but all of them will be very quiet and it won't be this one. Probably maybe the medium might have given him the flexibility to show the life. Probably this since he is depicting only a sage who is transmitting the knowledge to the king, probably that might have given him the been a flexibility, or probably might have thought, okay, let us show it, let us make this entire depiction bit more dynamic rather than a static one. So this one thing, something which is very interesting. You can see this is the first snake, then we have got the first monkey, then we have got another monkey. This monkey is waiting and watching. Then we have got the birds. Then we have got another bird here, another peacock which is looking down. This is another monkey, it doesn't know what is happening. And these two all poor all. Now I'll show you the image, mean much more enlarged images of all these animals, so that you can appreciate how he has brought that life into their faces. See, the emotions is not only on the faces of human beings, it's also on the faces of the animals. On the white stretch. Now I go to another depiction in the Kalyana Sundar's marriage. See, this marriage of Parvati and Shiva is a very great event. It was very brilliantly narrated in the Kumara Sambhu of Kalidasa also. It happens in a small hall where all the Brahma is officiating as an as the Prohit or the conductor. Then Kanyadhana is done by show you. You can see here Vishnu is giving Kanyadana by actually pouring the water in the hands of Shiva. And this happens in a place which has got a balcony. And the balcony has got a number of ladies who are peeping through the windows. Actually, they are all balconies, but there is a protection with the screens here, and from that they are peeping through. If you see them closely, it was outstanding depiction of female beauties shown here by the Chola artist. I'll show you this one. Actually, these are all the, you can say there are about 10 figures, 10 figures of them. I have shown here only 5. You just see the way they are wondering the beauty of Shiva and as well as the Parvati's. See their body language, hand gestures. And above this one is best. Actually, she is holding her fingers against her nose. There's a time in Tamil we always say, no, when you say "Mookla kai vaikkaradu," this is the best depiction of that. So you can see the drawing of it a bit at the bottom. And I was able to get a quote from Kambaramayana where Kambar actually is describing the Ayodhya Kandam. Again, same thing happens. I mean, done in Kumar Sambhu and Raghuams also, where Kambar says that Salarathinum Putana Tamare Malargal. I don't think that nowhere else we have got a graphic description for these words. Saralatinum Putana Tamare Malargal. All these women, if you see their beauty, that's as beautiful as the lotus. And in fact, I do not know whether Kamban has seen all these paintings at that time and then wrote these lines. And similar description comes in Kumarasambhavam also, comes in Raghuvamsam also. So now I'm going to the next part of my lecture. Whether they are all simple, they are images, or something is this one has been documented. I'll go a little bit in detail. See, actually, the documentation of donations and working arrangements are portrayed in detail in the inscriptions. In fact, no other king of medieval India has left such a large number of indelible inscriptions with very, very accurate details. The inscription of this temple in particular and Chola inscription found on the walls of hundreds of temples are huge reservoirs information. They also talk about all these things. And then, see, when I started thinking whether these inscriptions are the only documents for us, why not we take these murals as an sort of an documentary evidence? As do they contain any information? Do they have anything to say about the contemporary events? Why we should see them as always a work of art? Then when I started repeatedly asking me, I found these three panels. As I said already, Sundara. Okay, Sundara also we can say because that's an event which took place about 200 years back, and that he has depicted. There are two panels which I have shown earlier. This particular one, that is of why I say this is not Dakshina Murti. Very clearly is. I will show you this. I'll magnify this slide. In fact, you can see this. This is a stage. You can see the drawings, which are much better than the originals. Actually, is a sage is sitting and is telling something with his left hand, and also right hand is kept above on his knees, and he is seated on a singhasana, of course, with the Jatamakuda, and his mouth are open, and all the teeth are visible. In fact, actually, he is a mortal being explaining something to his disciples on his right side, or the normal disciples or the sages. On the right side we have got three figures. Two of them are ladies, one of them are one is definitely a male, all of them wearing crown. So they must be royal disciples, and in my opinion this must be Rajaraja and his two of his queens, and this sage must be his guru of we are getting a name called Isan Siva Pandita in that in the inscription. He may be him. And in fact, there were a lot of Saiva Siddhantis from Arya Desa, then Madhya Desa, from Gauda Desa. There are quite a good number of them in the Chola court. They were all royal gurus to the Chola kings. He may be one of them who have actually given the diksha to Rajaraja and this thing. In fact, after this, the other two panels where Rajaraja's depictions are coming, he has not shown with his his usual crown. He was shown with a very simple attire of a lower garment and an upper garment only, with a very simple headgear without the crown. So, if it is Dakshinamurti, then if you go to the right top of that, we have got a depiction of Shiva accompanied by the Saptamatrikas, of which five are visible, the two are on the other side of the thing. See, the Saptamatrikas with Shiva, they are taken to be the gods of learning. Actually, they are appreciating the kind of knowledge that is being transferred at the bottom. So if you take it a totalitarian, this must be a contemporary event in which probably Rajaraja got his diksha from his guru. And that he has recorded here. This was first gave me that a clear-cut thing that he wanted to document certain contemporary event or near contemporary events in the murals. It is not simply an imagery. See, if it had been imagery, he would have put it hundreds of figures. All the walls would have been covered with images of Shiva. Actually, as happened in the Devakoshas outside. But whereas here, this sage is a real, he's a mortal. If it is an Dakshinamurti, he would not have opened his mouth because it's Maunam Vyakanam. That is something what we know about Dakshinamurti. So this one is my one interpretation. Next, I'll show you the close-ups of this. And few scholars have identified this image of Agastya. And again, I want to don't want to accept that interpretation because Agastya in the Chola temples is already is a deified person. He always appears on the at the mantapa's walls, and always shown in standing. Probably might be having the belly and the same beard, but he was never shown with other not never under an in the under the banyan tree, which is actually a representation of Dakshinamurti there. It's actually a simile used by the artist to show the greatness in knowledge of this particular the sage. Now you can see the close views of it. You can see this sage. Actually, as you can see here, this is his mustache and the beard. His mouth is well open with clear depiction of the teeth. And he sits on an Singhasana again. That is not necessary for Agastya. So next, I'm going to the next panel where again, as I said, there is a strong rooted legend in the Tamil Nadu that the Tirupadigams or the verses of the first three Nayanmar, that is Appar, Sambandar, and Sundarar, were catalogued or compiled by Rajaraja Chola and his patronage by Nambi and Arambi who did the work, and that is why it's called Thirumarai Kanda Cholan. This was taken to be an legend or a story probably created some time back. There is one 14th century work with suspect authorship, which in detail it depicts about this legend. And the scholars who don't want to accept this particular legend, they say that these Tirupadigams were sung already, even about 200 years, right from the days of their composition. They were sung in all the temples, because in the inscriptions we are getting donations given to the Odua Murtis who are singing that Tirumarais at all the temples. Then why Rajaraja should have attempted this collection of all these images, I mean, all these Tirupadiyams, and then it must be classified into Tirumara. I do not know why he has done it, or even whether it is simply legend. Till today it was a legend. But when I saw that particular panel in which he is worshipping the Nadaraja, I was able to find some clues to say that this again and recording of a contemporary event that has happened during his lifetime. I will just give you in a brief how this the legend is there. The legend says that Rajaraja wanted to know how many Tirupadiyams are there, whether we have lost some Tirupadiyams, and all these questions were there. So he was directed to a person called Nambiyandar Nambi. Nambiyandar Nambi in turn says that these sleeves are all preserved in the Chidambaram temple. Again, that work, the 14th century Tamil work says that Rajaraja went with his complete entourage. Again, you just again take this point with complete entourage, that is with everyone, all his Radhakada, Turagapada, is everybody. He went to Chidambaram and tries to open the room where the leaves are kept. According to the legend, he was not allowed to open it by the persons who are in charge of that room, because they say that it is not openable without the presence of the three great saints, namely Appar Sundara and Sambandar. These three, Appar Sundara, Sambandar, are already they are not there, so it is not possible to bring them alive to this particular portion. So what he did was, he brought the three murtis, that is at bronze images of these three great saints, and took them in procession around the Chidambaram temple. And immediately, as per the legend, immediately that log got broken. Let us not go into the dramatic things, but he was able to open that room. And again, more legends think that there was an Asariri was come, there was a divine saying was there, and all these things. Let's all these things. He was able to retrieve the palm leaf containing all these verses, and he tasked Nambi and Nambi to make them compile them, so that the seven Tirumurais were compiled, three of Sambandar, three of Appar, and one of Sundara. So this is the legend. This is what mentioned in the 14th century Tamil work. Many did not agree its authorship. Many of the scholars are opposing this particular legend, because that Tirupatiyam singing tradition was already deeply rooted for 2 centuries in all the temples. So if Rajaja wanted to really do the compilation, he could have called all the Oduva Murtis from all the temples and simply asked them to sing and then compiled it. It's a very plausible explanation or an argument against this legend we can accept. But when I saw this image, let me go to that next slide. This is the image actually on the outlook. When I was looking at for the artist for 15 years, I always believed it that this is Rajaraja. Here you can see is without a crown, very simply dressed up with one bottom one, and all his 3 queens are there. They are all well dressed here, and they are they are worshipping Nataraja. All is perfectly all right. And if you see on this one, we have got outside the temple, we have got lot of people. This one, then here you can, in fact, if you see the original image, here is elephants, or it's actually it's caparisoned elephants are standing there, and on this side you can see on caparisoned horses waiting. That means the entire is entourage of people, devotees, everybody was assembled in the temple. So this is what that tradition also says. The tradition says that the leaves were obtained from Chidambaram. So this depiction is no one has ever suspected this is not Chidambaram, except for that one scholar said this is not Rajaja. This may be the Chera king. That none has accepted later on. It was not this was not the correct one. So here we have got Rajaja worshipping this. Okay, we all thought for a very long time Rajaja went with all his entourage and then worshipped them. But when I went there about 2 years back, when I saw that, uh, uh, when I saw when I looked at two places, particularly these 3 images here, right at the bottom, when I looked at them very seriously, why not this could have been that way? This may not be the representation of this particular legend. Then I was able to find out that these 3 particular figures are shown with the pita. See, normally nowhere else, even the king was not given a pita. No asanas were given to everybody standing on the thing, except these 3 figures. Why only 3 figures? Why not 4 figures? Why not 5 figures? Why not 10 figures? So then I was able to interpret that these 3 were all, in fact, they are the bronze images of the 3 9. It could be. That is only plausible explanation I can give. If that be the case, then it must be the retrieval of Tirupatiyam, this one. Then we have to find out where exactly the whether the artist has shown where the leaves were kept. Then I was able to see on this offset right on the top, which I have again previous time I have explained it as a small room, something is kept there. Then I was able to see here, this is actually a room with a roof and very beautifully decorated. Inside that there is a small cot. On the cot something was kept and it was covered with a white cloth. And in front of that there are a lot of this kind of lamp and other auspicious things are kept. That means is something sacred is kept there. So when I put this together, one and two together, then I was able to convince myself that this actually depicts this particular event of opening that room which is having the leaves and taking possession of that. And if you see the body language of all the other people assembled here, it is all, they're all explaining something great is happening, something great happening. In fact, right on the top of the panel, above the thing, the artist has shown clouds. I can show you in the These are clouds are shown, and behind the clouds, the gods have come. The semi-divine peoples have come there, and they are worshipping. See, this is also not necessary. When and if they want simply depict only Rajarajas going to his family deity of Chidambaram and worshipping it, why the god should come there and worshipping along with them? So something great has happened. That is the Tirupadiyams, in which the songs, the Lord was sung about by the great three saints, where they were able to get it. That is why even the body language, the way these Shiva Bhaktas are all discussing among them, all these things put together, something great has happened. That great thing is this, the at least recovery of this one. I'll show you the close-up of all these places. Here you can see this is the cut out portion where these 3% you can see the clear-cut pita here, where all these people are all standing on leg, on floor. These three have been given a pita. You can see here I have shown it again, a drawing. A pita is given. Except if it is not a bronze image, the pita is a redundant depiction here. I think Chola artists would have committed a mistake of depicting a mortal being on a pita. Never. And you can see here all these people assembled within the thing, how they are talking to each other. So something great has happened. Here we have got a collection of a group of royal ladies. They are also talking among themselves. And right on the top, you can see this cloud formation. And behind the clouds, the semi-divine and divine people are all assembled. On this side, you can see on the offside, a small offside, a room is shown here. You can see the roof of the room with all the malas, festoons are here down below, showing that it's a very, very sacred and important room. And inside that, you can see the small cot, and in front that we can see all these auspicious objects have been kept. Similar depiction also comes when during in the marriage scenes of Sundara. So this probably maybe this Chandanam and other things have been kept, or worshipping things have kept. So unless something is great, why should they cover it with the white cloth on the left side? And if you take another one more thing, this 14th century work says that this room is located to the west. Actually, this is to the right of the panel. If this Nataraja is facing south in Chidambaram, if I'm not wrong, and if you take that direction, this becomes west. Male parallel it is coming. So it's quite plausible that this is the one. And as I already told, in front of that, this particular very poorly preserved thing is there, where we are having the entire court is sitting in a protocoled manner and listening to something. If you put these two things together, I'm quite convinced, probably others may not accept with this. This legend, this Rajaraja was able to open a room where the leaves have been preserved. Let us leave all the other thing of Asariri coming to break opening. If anyone has seen that cinema and Rajaraja Cholan by Shivaji, and you can just imagine how Shivaji used to go inside the room by pushing all the cobwebs and everything. Let us not think all those things in a graphic, dramatic manner. Otherwise, these two things taken together, I think Rajaraja has utilized the space to depict two important incidents took place in his life, and documented it. And many people might be asking why he has not written it in the inscription. When he called himself as Sivapada II, you could also written it as a Tirumurai. Probably you might not have thought this is not meant for public consumption, this particular instance. So it took a very small, and he wanted this to be preserved for a very, very long time for the other maybe a close group of people to be seen. I'm quite convinced these two are contemporary events and depicting this particular legend. So now you can see the close-up of all these things, as I have already described this one, this particular panel already. Very clear. This particular this assembly where the entire people is there. Right, we see now, if you see that investiture ceremony or award ceremony in In Rashtrapati Bhavan, same kind of thing. In hierarchical fashion, they have been seated, and only the Guru is given an asana. Others are not given any asanas. If I did not get this hang uh, figure of Rajaraja, I would not have been able to find it. I'll show it. I'll magnify that portion and show you. See this hang figure of Rajendra. I would not be dared enough to identify this as Raja and this as Guru. So that's now I come to my last portion of my talk. So these Chola murals are something different in the entire mural assembly. Now we have got Ajanta between Ajanta and these Chola murals, which Chola murals we can always consider to be the last of the classical tradition. In between, you have got small pieces here and there, like in Badami Chalukyan caves, you have got little bit in Ellora and some in Sitanavasal. But this one is where we have got fairly a large extent of murals here executed in fresco technique, which is slightly different from the Ajanta one, because Ajanta is a tempera, we can take long time to execute, whereas fresco, everybody knows, has to be done very quickly. And the Chola artist has done it in a place where there is no light for him. Definitely now we have got electric lights, at the time no lights, and in a very small space. And drawing that 15 feet by 10 feet panel is indeed a extraordinary achievement, I can say, because if anyone, maybe elder persons like me, 50 years, 60 years, 60s born, or the so-called boomer uncle generation, will remember in those days we used to have this signboards as an advertisement tool for cinemas. No, all those things were done. Even in those signboards, even though the artist used to draw it very near, you can always come back, fall back for about 50 or 20 or 100, 10 meters, 20 meters back, and you'll be able to appreciate. Actually, if you go near the signboard and see, you can see it so imperfectly all these figures are drawn. Only when you see it from the long distance, you will see a very beautiful picture of Amitabh Bachchan, very beautiful depiction of MGR, Shivaji, Jayalalitha, everybody. But if you go near, it will be very bad, very ugly to look at. But whereas here, the artist did not have that luxury of falling back, but he produced outstanding and excellent figures. Not a single figure was wrongly drawn or corrected. Corrections have happened here and there, but very, very limited. And that too in a fresco technique, which need a very deft and quickly you have to execute. This is something outstanding. And plus, unlike all other murals, this particular murals, as I said, as explained before, in which the king has documented some of the contemporary or near contemporary events. So use these things as a sort of an photo album of present day, like our marriage albums. So he has recorded them there, and of course after some places he has started depicting the imagery of Shiva, images of Shiva, various forms of Shiva, beginning from this one. This is something which is extraordinary. Only Rajaraja could have done it. Thank you very much. Now, any questions? I am ready to take.
Yes, yes.
Have I taken lot of time? If it is,
No,
I'm
no,
very
that's
sorry.
fine. You have
I'm very sorry.
you have
No,
time
that's
for
absolutely fine. You just stop sharing the screen.
Sir, 1 second. Stop share. Okay.
Yeah.
1 second. Please.
So we have quite a few questions from the audience.
Yes, sir.
We will sort of combine that along with some of our own questions.
Please, sir. Most welcome.
And probably as we keep talking about this, there may be more questions. But let me start with a question from Hemant. He says, if I'm not wrong, images of the Nayaka era murals, which were on top of the Chola murals, are displayed at the site museum inside the Brihadisvara temple.
Yes.
However, where are the originals? Were they pieced back together and preserved somewhere today? What do those murals depict?
Okay, see the Nayaka murals in general, they depict a repeated depiction of Tripurantaka,
Okay.
except one place where right above Dakshinamurti, right below Dakshinamurti panel, is a very small piece of this one where we are getting a representation of through this one. What you see in the museum there outside Interpretation Center, those were the detached Nayaka murals. These were detached, I think, if I'm not wrong, above the this about the Kalyana Sundar panel. See,
Okay.
before that, what happened? As I said, in 19, see, actually, the detachment of this Nayaka mural took place in two or three phases. One was happened in 1945, 46, 47, when Dr. Paramasivam actually, I think to the best of our rather guessing, because we do not know what actually Paramasivam did. Nobody knows. Even his own students are not giving me, never gave me the thing. I think what they did was they simply sacrificed the Nayaka layer. I will tell you how we used to arrive at. See what has happened. See, even when you take the descriptions of Govindaswamy, S.K. Govindaswamy, he says that wherever he touched, the Nayaka layer was just came in his hands. That was
Okay.
the dilapidated condition because the Chola mural were very, very smoothly finished. So obviously the 1 inch thick lime carrier of the Nayaka layer would not have stuck on the Chola mural. Suppose if the Chola mural has gone, the stone surface is exposed, it might have stuck there. But whereas right on the Chola murals, wherever it was preserved when the Nayakas were attempting to paint it, it was not sticking. So the Nayakas themselves have scratched it, scratched the original painting.
Oh.
And over that, they painted 1 inch thick lime plaster over which the Nayaka murals they executed their Nayaka painting. So obviously over a period of time, this 1 inch thick lime plaster did not stick over the Chola murals because of it did not have the grip. So it started falling. That is how our professor also discovered these things by removing it. It actually describes wherever I touched, it started falling down. So obviously you can always take, now some paint is peeling off. What we will do? It's a human tendency to flake it more, flake it more, flake it more. No, now we simply even otherwise it simply will flake it even in your house. Same thing probably the professor from this also did, and same thing also did by Paramasivam also. It was sacrificed,
Okay.
and see, simple thing. How do we come to a conclusion whether this place we can remove the Nayaka player? Actually, we went on tapping the whole area. Wherever the binding is very strong, it is not detached. That Nayaka layer is not detached, we know. So those there we have not attempted to remove the Nayaka layer. So wherever it is loose, we removed it. And in 1980, 85, 86, when it was done, I have shown you one slide. I have shown the entire process. Those were very meticulously removed, and that is what we have displayed it in the museum.
Okay. Before we go into some of the other questions,
Yes,
we can sort of summarize your talk,
please.
the interpretations related to various paintings.
Mm.
The first thing that you talk about is that the panel that was considered as, or at least talked about by some as Dakshinamurti panel, is not Dakshinamurti panel. And your reasons are very convincing that, Dakshinamurti normally has four sages. In one Kanchipuram Kailasanatha, you will see six, but they are clearly sages. Whether they are the Sanat Kumaras or various other names, you have only four sages. Here, there is very clearly two of them are women. At least one is clearly women, and that sort of rules out Dakshinamurti
Yes,
and many other reasons. But the real confusing aspect, which also you talked about, is the tree behind, which is so specific to the Dakshinamurti panel. The movements that you are talking about, Sriraman, of whereas in typical Dakshinamurti panels, everybody is quiet. Here there is a lot of commotion. The snake is going up, the monkey is jumping across, upsetting everybody there in the tree. Is that a creative interpretation of the artist? And why is the artist, in this case, or artist guild or group, putting the tree over this, the sage, giving us this kind of, a lot of difficulty here?
No, no.
Clearly.
Also, see, with Dakshinamurti, harmony or harmonious coexistence is the main theme. Here, it's the exact opposite of chaos, kind of like exact
As,
reversal of what is normally
But
happening.
nevertheless, the closeness of the tree to, probably this is the most elaborate depiction, if not for the dynamic movement that you are talking about and the commotion. This is probably the very best, tree that you can give as an example about Dakshinamurti, because it has got everything perfectly placed, including that Pokkanam.
Bakanapai. Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
So, what is your, why
yes.
did they do that?
One thing. Okay, thanks for that. You have accepted that this is not Dakshinamurti. Yes, that banyan tree, if you see, he's not actually sitting under the banyan tree. The sage is there in a very big cave.
Okay.
He has got his own cave, like other rishis in that hillock. They have got their own crevices or caves where they are all living. Okay, he is sitting in his own cave, which is very big. This actual tree is located right on the summit of the hillock.
Uh-huh.
The hillock may be sacred. Hillock may be sacred. That place may be sacred. One. Two, this is a simile. See, you cannot simply put a sage, no. Because the sage is so great, he's a Raja Guru, and the knowledge he is having is as good as the God, as good as Dakshinamurti can convey. So how do you do that? Put that actually in the குறியீடு சொல்லுவாங்களே, it's a symbolic representation.
Or,
Symbolic.
or a slesha. That
Slesha,
if you
symbolic.
want to see, though, which we have seen in
Okay.
Mahendra trying to create that, in one angle, though it is, enough hints have been left that it is not Dakshinamurti,
But
but
this knowledge is as good
as good as
not
Dakshinamurti.
not that much, a slightly best. So
Okay.
so here the artist has got some sort of flexibility. If it's a Dakshinamurti, he has to go very quiet, no commotion. But
Okay.
this particular tree, particular sage, this particular hill, they are all there right on this earth. So it has got a life. And that is the one place where the artist has got some sort of. See, the medium is also conducive for him to show this emotion. See, if you ask me to show it the emotion on stone, it is very difficult.
It's impossible. Yeah.
No. Indian artists have shown emotions.
But there's immensity. For example,
Immensity, the dynamics.
Dynamism is very possible.
Dynamism.
Yeah, yeah.
In
And that
Srinivasanallur, you got it almost in
Mm.
Srinivasanallur.
Mm.
But the size, the largeness, the amount of stone required, you can't put it in a koshta.
You can't put it on a question.
Can't do it in a koshta.
But here that artist has got that flexibility,
Right.
and he has got a pattern who has approved it. See, above all, as I said, right on the top, we have got Shiva and we have got the seven Saptamatrikas. See,
Right.
Shiva need not have to go, he need not have to appreciate himself as Dakshinamurti below. So at the top, he is appreciating the jnana which is being transferred below along with the mothers. If it is Dakshinamurti, he need not have to say I'm doing it great below.
The question here is that Shiva or Veerabhadra?
No, that is Shiva. Shiva.
Because normally the Saptamatrikas have to be accompanied with Bhadresa on one side, Vinayaka on the other side, right?
Yes. See, there are five Saptamatrikas shown there.
Correct.
Because I am unfortunate, I don't have the original image. Somebody has to sit with me. I can always show. Varagi is very clearly shown. All the attributes are there. They are matrikas. Two are on the other side of on the other walls which we have not exposed. Then Ganesha, we do not know whether he is there in the lot, but it starts with Shiva. It is Shiva. Shiva as Shiva only. It is not
Not Veerabhadra.
Not Veerabhadra, not in any other form. Shiva
Okay.
as Shiva only.
Okay. Fine.
And all of them are appreciating. If you see their hands, they just
Yeah.
kept like this. Something great is happening. This is that mudra everywhere that artist has used. Even in I said that in the assembly, all of them are holding their hands like this. I mean, appreciating it.
Okay. Fine. Let's
Next.
go to one of the questions from again Hemant. I'm skipping a couple of questions because I think they are sort of answered. Hemant wants to know again, would it be worthwhile to explore if the Maratha era murals on the walls of the Tiruchutru Maligai also were made on top of layers of more ancient murals? Has such an attempt been done in the past? Trying to see anything inside the Maratha murals, which could be Chola.
The Cholas painted the prakaras also, because one remained which I saw, it was that I think Tirupulivanam near Uttaramirur, which was removed very magnanimously by the HRNC department. I don't know whether it is there or not. It is not there, the best of my knowledge. But below the Nayaka, I mean, this Maratha murals on the Prakara, particular Prakara, we cannot take into consideration their so-called portrait gallery, because it is their own construction, Nayaka construction. Let us not bother. So we
Okay.
cannot expect Chola's painting
Yeah.
there,
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
the Devi Mahatmyam
Yeah.
the depiction on the in front of the Amman shrine. Okay, but it is not there. I will tell you again why. And again, the choice of selection. See, suppose the choice of selection of Pradakshina Pada is very, very thought after, because the Pradakshina Pada would have been the last place that artist would have got, because all these things were covered by earth while construction. So the painter would not have gone inside the Pradakshina Pada risking his life. So he must have got it at the last moment. And why that particular place was selected? Maybe for security, because the paintings, when done outside, might have got this one, so he might not have chosen. Number one. Number two, probably you don't want the paintings to be for a public view. It must be for a very selected people. He probably, Rajaraja must have thought, okay, these are all, it should be within this in a protected area, not outside. And obviously, outside area was too big. They might not have attempted it.
Okay.
Sir, in
But it
that
is not there.
context,
It is not there. We have checked, it is not there.
Okay.
sir,
Because
I wanted to.
no, 1 second, ma'am. In some places, we have got this Maratha paintings. No, it might have been somewhere sticking here and there, here and there. It was not there.
Oh,
Or
Okay.
it might have all have gone. We have lost it. Either way.
oh.
I don't have time machine to go back and ask Rajaraja where you have done it. Please, sir.
Yeah, good.
Next question,
See,
please.
on what basis did you decide that these are the 7 panels you will be documenting? They were the most visible to you, or
No, no, no,
like,
no, 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 no. See, our this documentation was done under severe constraint. You know, it was a government work, and taking this much of big risk or attempt in government, there will be 100% to pull your shirts back. It is just like a rugby; they won't allow you to go up. In spite of that, due to my, I mean, our we had a very good head of the office who allowed me to go ahead. And our aim was only Chola murals. We are not bothered, because Nayaka murals are highly repetitive, and we know that we are going to keep it them in original in the outside interpretation center, which we did at that time. So it was only Chola murals, and Chola murals was so. I mean, when we went, we saw it was so much is there, and only parts and pieces. Suppose you are a beautiful woman. If I take only your nose and show that this is the representation of some beautiful woman, that is not correct. So we said we must be in whole. What the
okay,
artist has thought, it should come out. So that, whereas in Nayaka mural, we didn't find any theme or I mean taking the entire thing. It's all randomly done figures. So we are not thing. But given an opportunity, I want even the Maratha murals to be I mean documented and published.
Yeah.
Particularly that the Devi Mahatmya and that and the in front of the Mamansan should be done. And we have got a lovely portrait gallery in front of that Subramanya shrine in Raja Mandapam.
Okay. The second major interpretation from you, there are a few questions.
Yes.
which is that the panels, a twin panel, let's say,
It's a
the way
twin
you
panel.
have
Yes.
presented it,
Yes.
of the Tirumurai Kandacholan, of him discovering the or getting that manuscripts,
Mm,
and then ensuring that it is read out
mm,
in Tanjavur. So it's
mm,
basically Chidambaram Tanjavur twin paintings.
mm. Yeah.
Uh,
Good.
Question from Srinivas Nagaraja. Of course, he starts with, praising you for this wonderful, very plausible interpretation that it could be Tirumurai Kanda Chola episode. One question: of the three idols on the Pita, one is bigger, other two
Uh,
smaller. Is
Yeah.
there an explanation? Just wait.
Yeah.
Then the second question from Rajesh Garga:
Uh,
are the three images on the Pita having the iconography we have come to associate with art at all?
yeah.
Why is one of them larger than the other two? Any significance?
yes.
Of
I
course,
have
there are
no.
few more questions, but if you could focus
No,
first.
no. This, see, when I published it in Facebook, see, nowadays, no, we don't have any seminars. Facebook is the best place to publish things. One of our own friends, in fact, even rather, he's not very cryptically. We put the same question. I
Right.
I don't have answer for that. Why the artist has depicted one big, one small, one small? There is one plausible answer is there, and somebody said one with a mustache. None of them are is having a mustache. Maybe probably some mistakes have happened in my drawings. Maybe if you see, if you take the years lived by the three saints, Sambar, Sambandar, and Sundarar lived for a very short period, maybe 16 and 20 years, whereas upper lived for a very long duration.
Right. Right.
Maybe that. That may be that, but I am not sure. Why he has done, I cannot answer. But they were given a pita and they are all three bronze images. That much only I can say. That is what my clue to make it this interpretation, which I missed for 15, 20 years, 15 years, for more than 15 years. That one. Second thing, whether they follow the iconography for a saint.
I have an answer, but you complete it and then I will come up with my answer.
If you give me, I can give you a very good treat if it is
No,
acceptable.
you
Okay.
complete this
What?
and I will
Okay.
come up with the answer.
Whether that iconographies of the saints are being given. See, we are in the inscription. We are getting about the donation of the images of all these three murtis, but unfortunately, the images. I think I have not seen any early Chola images of the three.
That, that comes
Exactly,
in.
exactly.
The
Yeah,
the
yeah.
I,
three saints to compare.
Yeah.
But whether the painter has faithfully copied those iconography here, whether the painter should copy the same thing, also we do not know.
in a sense,
Now
the
you can give me your answer. If you
the
can, I'll accept.
representation of the nine Mars
Uh,
as well as Alvars,
uh,
like let's keep Alvars out.
uh,
The Myanmar representation started emerging in temples post Sekira
Yeah,
in a big
exactly.
way.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
So the very iconography that we are familiar
Yeah.
today
It's
ah,
much later.
is very much post
Later.
Sekira,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
agreed,
yeah.
suggestion.
agreed.
Therefore, if the Chola artists were asked to represent it and they had to represent it, they didn't have an iconography to go with. While they had absolute iconography of everything else, they had
Yes,
fantastic Nataraja there. They had, because it was already from a Pallava period to Chambian Mahadevi
Yeah.
period, they have Nataraja and it's there in the walls, of course. They have statues, everything done. Then Saptamatrikas they have everything, but they
mm,
don't have the Myanmar
Right.
iconography intact. So they simply moved along. That Pita, I am seeing it only now with this, the magnification that you
sir,
have provided.
sir, I have missed it for 15 years.
Okay.
In spite of seeing it thousand hundred times, even more than the artist, I would have seen it.
Right.
Please.
So that is the only reason that they have created them. Now I can fully understand your interpretation, but that they had to, in the absence of well-known iconography for the Myanmars or a certain prevailing iconography of that time, which We don't know today because what survives today is clearly post-Sekidar.
No, your this explanation also answers another question. There is a line of thinking that all these paintings are post Sekida. There are scholars. Even some American scholars, those who are expert in murals, they say very clearly this is post Sekida because of that depiction of Vellayana Sarukam in the Sundarar panel.
Correct. I was
Based on
about
that.
to link it to that next.
So
Is
this one gives me very clear. If that be the case, they would have seen that Nayanas and shown all of them also properly. That is not the case.
so
This ipso
certainly,
facto.
yeah. So that comes to Sundaramurti panel.
Mm.
Though you didn't spend much time on it because there is no drastically different interpretation.
No,
The
sir, no, sir.
importance of it is that probably it is the first time in any Tamil Nadu temple that Sundaramurti Nayanar story is even being presented. Let us for a minute, when the duration, in terms of the classicism, it is certainly, it doesn't look like it is a later period. But maybe, experts in orthography can look at the writing in the palm leaf to see what period the Tamil characters are represented there, because we can read in the magnification what is actually written there. And that could give you a clue in terms of the time period. But probably that is a first time, in a sense, that if we accept that it is a Rajaraja Chola period, that it is the first time that Sundaramurti Nayanar story, along with, of course, Cheraman Perumal Nayanar, being depicted in a visual form. Can we, I was about to ask,
Yes.
can we take
Yes, just I want to just add. It's a good thing. I think yesterday or day before yesterday, I just again put it in the Facebook, highlighting so many people. Whether is there any depiction of the episodes of any Nayanmar, in any
right?
temple before Raja? I did not get any clue or anything. One thing I'll tell you, sir. See, let us go take another thing. See, the Rajaraja worshipping the linga. This scene has already been depicted on stone at Trivisolu,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
we have got an inscription there that the Kandradithan is worshipping this one there. Okay,
In Pune
so
Rajapuram,
that is already there. So for that, the artist has got an previous one. But why this Sundaramurtis was highlighted? So we do not know whether some others episodes were shown. We do not
right.
know. What is there hidden? We do not know. Why Sundar? And luckily we have got Sundaramurti Nayanar's depiction. Why this was depicted there? I have a small explanation for that. Because if you study the life of all the three great Nayanars, the Sundaramurti's life is slightly different. He was Anukatondar. He was living by the side of the god and then thrown into the earthly life. And if you go through all the verses of Sundaramurti, even the language, if you study them, it is not a very fitting style like Sambandha Rapas. It's very, very fluid, just like a friend talking to a friend. Sometimes even Sundaramurti used to scold at Shiva for
Right.
having not helped him at very critical moments. So it's very beautiful that verses are there. Probably Rajaraja wanted to place himself equal or at par with Sundaramurti as Anukatondar. That is why it took the title as Sivapadashekaran.
Hmm.
That is why he has highlighted this, and it took only two big important episodes from the because Sundaramurti's Nayana's life, a number of episodes are there. You can
Yes.
make even one big mega serial out of it. Ah, and
The,
it's all internal evidences are also there for that.
correct. And the other obvious reason is that it is only through Sundaramurti Nayanar
That
that we
came
get
to
all the other
yeah,
Nayanars
yeah, yeah,
names
Ah,
even,
yeah,
that is
yeah.
also there. That is
He's
right?
the
also there.
original
So, in a
author.
sense, he
Yes,
is opening up the entire Tirumurai for you,
Yeah.
yes,
because
yes, yes,
only
yes,
through
yes, yes.
him that
Good,
you get to know others
good.
and their respective works.
He's
Agreed
So,
the
with you.
original author, so he's
Agreed
being
with you.
credited.
Agreed
Yeah.
with you. So probably might have highlighted him.
yeah. Uh,
More than that, you want to place his devotion to God
Yeah.
on par with Sundaramurti's devotion and probably his closeness to the god.
And also, therefore, at a later time when Chekidar's Periyapuranam comes up, the main hero of the book from the first page to the last page is only
This is,
Sundaramurti.
this is
While
Sundaramurti.
others do come, it is Sundaramurti's story effectively.
Story
With
effectively,
others
definitely.
has
Everybody's to be they're all comes in between,
exactly.
only. Agreed,
Right.
agreed,
So
agreed.
I
Any
think
other, sir?
we have taken a lot of time, but I will
No. I am free. My wife is not there. You can talk more.
just
she
just two.
has she has gone to a beauty parlor to take a lot of time for her to come back.
Okay,
Please, sir.
couple of quick questions.
Please,
Uh,
sir.
there's a question from viewer. Are there any similar mural or continuation of the murals in Chidambaram of the Chola vintage?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't think so. Chola murals are appearing here and there in patches. One somewhere near this Senji, it was there. One, of course, now it is that this Tirupulivanam, it is gone. Here and there appearing, but I have not seen them, so I cannot say very clear. And if my hunch is correct, some of the painting done in Kailasana temple may belong to the Chola period.
Oh.
Before or
Okay.
after, before or after Rajaraja? I cannot. Before, mostly of Rajaraja. Sir, one more thing I wanted to say. I'm sorry, not just I remembered it. In fact, why he has depicted these contemporary events in these murals, we should again go back to the depiction at Vaikuntha Perumal temple. And everybody has accepted that Kanchipuram's Kailasa temple was the inspiration for him to construct this temple. Probably he might have got the inspiration from Vaikuntha Perumal temple sculptures also to put these contemporary events or make it an sort of an archives for the contemporary events, graphic archives. Now, next question. Any other question, please?
Yeah. The next question is uh, do we have pictures taken of the Nayaka panels inside pathway, those that have not been removed?
No,
Okay.
no, we have not done. If I get another opportunity, I want to do the entire temple. May God bless me.
Okay. Great. Couple of other questions
Please.
removed from the panel that you have not really talked about. The Tripurantaka panel. Right? The Tripurantaka panel, in a sense, again, the advantage of the medium of painting is probably in the whole country the most vivid picture of that particular episode. Right? You get to see everything conceivable. In every other, anywhere you go, you have a miniaturized or even where large sculpture is possible, you couldn't have brought everything together in this kind of a phenomenal standout version. Now, again, the question to be asked is when such a huge endeavor was possible, why only Tripurantaka? Again, we don't know what else they tried to do,
Yeah.
what else they did, etc. But why not so many other things? The common depiction of other, phenomenally, for example, the episode of, let's say, um, Kalari Murti, for example, Kajasamhara Murti, for example. This, because the reason why I'm asking is that, is there any special connection with this temple? Because in the outside, as you enter in the small stone slab, you see the exact same thing depicted in a miniature sculpture. So, was there something that somewhere Rajaraja has mentioned connection to this temple and the Tripurantaka?
Yeah, you
By
can
any-
directly you can put a question whether it is an political symbolism also there. Okay, anyway, I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
See, out of the 7 panels, 4 we can say contemporary events or what's happened in this earth. 3 we have got. One is Kalyana, it begins with Kalyana Sundaramurti, that is Sivas Parvati, which
Yeah,
is
but,
all,
Anugraha
which is
Murti, sort of, we can say one Anugraha Murti and
one
one
Samhara
Samhara Murti.
Murti,
Yeah.
and again Anagara Murti. We have got Ravana shaking
Ravana.
Kailasa.
Ravana Anugraha. Yeah.
Yes, I will tell you why the reason may be. I may be wrong. Somewhere I think some scholar has given me an statistics of Murtis mentioned in the first 7 Tirumurais.
Ah,
Of the statistics, highest number, maybe some in thousands, goes to Tripurantaka.
I
Next
see.
comes Ravananugra Murti. Next comes
Okay.
Kalyan Sundara Murti.
Wow.
I
This is
think
very interesting, really.
it was given by Mu Rasamanikarar. If I am not wrong, definitely I will share you the book. It is there in my thing. Unfortunately, I am not working from my computer system. It is there. I think I also mentioned it in my book in a footnote. The
Very interesting.
statistically, Tripurantaka Murti is the highly celebrated form of Shiva in the entire 7 Tirumurais.
Wow. Okay.
Even you can we take a random sampling. Out of 10, there will be at least 2 mentionings of these true. One thing is Ravananin Sirukkai Adakkudal. Other thing is these two are there, you can see. Probably that might have guided Rajaraja to adopt the Prantaka Murti as this one. There are good number of scholars, they say, even my own the gurus, it is the political symbolism. He has conquered the whole known country, known India at the time. That is why he's depicting all other previous rulers have depicted Tripurantaka to show their political supremacy. I think all these things are good in our time. With thinking from our time point of view, I don't think Raja need not have to think to show that political supremacy in the painting or in placing Tripurantaka. He could have gone to another country, broken their back, and brought all the wealth from there. Or he could have added one more line in his Prasasti. It is not through Tripurantaka. In
This one
fact,
is,
eh,
just as much as your new interpretations,
in fact,
this one is equally an interesting
yes,
interpretation, really.
in fact, you would have take his inscriptions. How many times the word Adavalan comes? You just count from the inscription.
Okay.
Thousands. Because see, he forcibly renames all his inscriptions are recordings. It has got some sort of recordings of either volume or weight or length. No.
Right.
So in each measure, maybe length or volume or thing, he puts the word Adavala.
Okay.
And he puts the word Dakshina Meru Vidangar, which is also a form of Nataraja. Why he does that? One, to show his devotion to Adavala.
Okay.
Two, to show they are their family deities.
Family deities.
In fact, even in the Rajaraja worshipping thing, he has kept a small painting of Nataraja there.
Mm.
Because everybody will have a personal object of worship that he brought and keeps on is doing. Okay. And when a person reads the inscriptions, he will have been repeating the words Adavallan, 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 Adavallan. Like the nine months repeated Suprantaka Swam, right? They repeated. See, such a devotion man, he would have comparing himself with something which is a highly devotional person like Sundaramurti. Not putting a Tripurantaka thing, you don't want to show his six packs and biceps. I somewhat okay from modern perspective, modern interpretation, fine, agreed. But I have got my own reservations again. It's too much for us to do that. You could have,
Interesting. A couple of quick
please.
short questions.
Sure. Okay,
Uh,
sir.
Subhashini Bala wants to know if there is an online archive of these photographs for public.
Unfortunately, all my images, the final images, they are about some 500 MB, something is about 800 MBs are there. They are all in TIFF format. So we are unable to put it on online. Maximum we have given it in the internet. So many things are going there. All my whatever I publish here and there, they're all going on internet. In fact, I'm finding it very difficult to preserve these images in my system from one hard disk to other hard disk to other hard disk. I don't know when this TIFF and JPEG will go out of use in the software packages also. This is a
Uh,
problem with the digital documentation. And of course, my office is also preserving it with a great thing. I don't know how long it will be preserved. It is not in online. If somebody can host that much amount of data, definitely I can give. I will put, because now I'm a retired person, I
okay.
can go against the
Good thing.
copyright thing.
We will discuss what kind of futuristic or something that we can provide
Yes,
on,
if somebody is ready to give me the storage space of that much
and
capacity and
also
maintain,
kind
I can.
of a nice software where you can move a cursor around, which can see it in the right square,
Blow it in my
magnify, whatever.
magnified. Yes,
We'll
yes,
come
yes.
back to you on this, on what
Definitely.
is
It's a
possible.
pleasure. Even I would be happy if somebody comes out with a thing to re-photograph the things, because it's more than 20 years we have done. It needs to be re-photographed. Now we have got
Yeah,
better
today
camera
we have even better cameras,
Cameras, sir.
with
even more
better
storage.
software, everything. Definitely we don't have a 512 MB RAM small
But now
phone.
ASI will have to again give permission for that.
That's my responsibility. As long
Okay.
as I am alive,
Yeah.
my younger generation is there. They know about me. They will give me. That is my responsibility. I'll get
So
it done.
those of you who are hearing this talk, if you want to get involved, you can get in touch with us,
Uh,
and we will connect you to
Here, here,
Sriraman.
here. I want to put one small word. I saw a small booklet of documenting the Ajanta murals by the Japanese photographers.
Yes.
The amount of theoretical input that has gone into that, in terms of color temperature, in terms of processing it, it was, if somebody wants, someone with an ideas of this optics and the color things comes out, really I'll be a Garuda for him. He will be my Mahavishnu. I'll
Okay.
carry him and get these things done.
Sir, actually, as an extension, I wanted to ask you,
Uh,
although you said that the Ajanta and this Chola mural have the basic fresco style is completely different. In terms of artistic style, is there any continuation? I was going to ask you, keeping Pallavas, I mean, Kanchi Kailasnada in the middle, but you're saying Kailasnada is anyway Chola according to you.
no. Kailasada, I was able to discover four phases of it.
Okay.
There are four phases of it. I can very clearly say some of them are real original frescoes are there, which
Okay.
people have not taken much this one. There are four phases are there. Very clearly distinguishable four phases are there. Four different, one is truly Pallava, the other is later periods. But the continuation of lines as an artistic tradition, it is there. Even today it is there.
So
The way
from
they do.
Ajanta, you
Only
can see a
yeah.
continuity.
Ajanta continuity. Even today, the Sthapatis are following the same lines. Perhaps in between the Nayaka period, the painters did lose it,
Okay.
but it was there. The line wise, if you see the flow of lines, the way
Ah,
they do that, but Ajanta is slightly different because they had time. They were able to do some sort of this kind of called foreshortening and other things. But
but the
whereas here,
women, if you see the women, especially that you showed at the Kalyana Sundara, there is definitely a resemblance to the Ajanta
uh,
women there.
definitely that lines, the ultimately, the painting consists of lines and colors. If you
So
break down,
there is something called a classic Indian style, which is
definitely
distinct.
this is the last of the classical tradition. Then we lost it in between. Probably now we are gaining it more. But in Kerala, it was the classical lines are still being still present and practiced.
The
Even
related question is asked by Chittiram Pesadara. Uh, can we trace direct continuities between Pallava Vala tradition, like in Kanchipuram, and the early Chola fresco technique? How do the pigments and preparatory layers used in Brihadisvara murals inform us about the technical sophistication of Chola artisans?
yes, uh, 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 Pallava. What I have identified as real Pallava paintings there, both stylistically and by technique wise, they are real frescoes. The frescoes, real frescoes, what I mean is that right on the carrier, they have applied the pigments, and the pigments and the ground has become one and the same. That is the highest watermark of or highest test of a fresco. Whereas
Okay.
in Chola period, it's slightly an different kind of technique they have used. Whatever the scientific studies they have done, one by Paramasivam and recently by a team of chemists from Archaeological Survey of India. Unfortunately, they were not go very near to the technique how it was done, but they are very sure that lime was used as a base, as a binder, and all other are mineral colors.
Okay.
But it's
Wonderful.
slightly different. It's slightly what I see, what I feel is a real Pallava painting or real frescoes at Pallava period. They are completely different. This is completely different. There itself you can see in the Kailashada you can see several layers of paintings. One is completely different, the other is completely different in execution.
The original Pallava is similar to Ajanta?
Somewhat. Because they have only depicted the forms of Shiva there. So we will
No, in
not
terms of technique.
techniques. I mean, that is Ajanta is completely different. It's a tempera technique. It has got nothing. It will be completely different. Here it is completely different. See, in a fresco, a real fresco, what they say, well, I have not seen the European thing. The pigment and the ground, the carrier,
Base.
the
Base.
ground, not the carrier, the ground should become one and the same.
Base.
Should become the one and the same. Because when you are doing it on a wet plaster, the pigment should be react with the atmosphere and become, I think, calcified, become a crystalline there. That is what I hear.
Wonderful.
One time I will give you a lecture on Pallavas
Yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah. We should. We
We
will certainly, plan for that. So I think we have sort of pretty much asked all the questions from the from YouTube. So Gauri, I think we can probably wrap up. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for giving another
Wonderful.
opportunity. I think do you have the same old video recording still available?
Oh, actually,
It was there in the
what was the
internet
time in
archives.
2009? It was 2009, April and May. That
2009, not 2006.
2009.
9.
And we were not doing video recording. We didn't have the devices. We started recording a little from September 2009. I went back to check. So we don't.
No, no. I have seen it in internet archives. It may not, or at least voice is available.
Yeah, text. The audio is available.
Audio is available.
Audio is available. I have uploaded it because I did the audio recording.
Audios are
There,
available.
it
Yes.
is there
You
in
can.
archive.org. I have uploaded all the audios, but no
It may be
video
in the audio.
exists. Uh,
Okay, anyway, I can give once again. No.
yes,
In fact, I am going to record a series of panel by panel description of these things for this Semmudi Classical Tamil Institute. Maybe it may happen in a month's time and they will be uploading it. They can see it
okay.
in their
Yes,
channel.
yes, yes.
It will be both in English and
We will
Tamil.
share that. Once that happens,
Okay,
we
can
will
share
share
the
that
link.
to our audience.
Link. Where I'll be going into each panel, enlarge them and show it, enlarge them and show it, enlarge them and show it from the original image.
Yes.
Okay, thank you,
Uh,
sir. Thank you very much.
thank you
For
very much.
those, I think I have bored you for a very
No,
long
no,
time.
no, no.
For a long
Not
We
at
are,
all.
we are all enjoying it. In fact, the comments from the YouTube channel is all very appreciative. I can read
Thank
one just for your reference. It's from Rajesh. He says this was a very interesting topic and magnificence of Chola art has been excellently presented. Showed the hard work put in by Mr. Sriraman. Thank you for the presentation
Oh,
and
it's my pleasure.
PhD for arranging. So comments are pretty much in this line. So over to Gauri for wrapping up and any
And
further.
thanks for your opportunity also after 15
Sure.
years. In fact, I was one of the forerunners of these talk shows. At the time, I was given 2 opportunities. If I am
Yes,
not
yes.
wrong, nobody was given
You have
2.
2 months in a
2
row.
months continuously.
Yours was the, if I'm not mistaken, the fourth talk that, there were only 3 talks earlier, and you were the fourth and fifth
So,
month was from you.
so it was really a great opportunity for me once again. In fact, I am blessed by all of you and blessed by God also for this opportunity. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Badri.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Gauri.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thanks for our Shivashankar also for
Yes,
arrangements.
yes, yes. Thank you. Thanks,
Pleasure.
Shiv.
It's always a pleasure and good night. All the best. Anybody, they can reach me by all means,
Sure.
telephone or Facebook or anything. I'm always there. If anybody is ready to document it again, I'll be the first person to go
So
with
let's
it.
see. Let's see if somebody takes up.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Over to you, Gauri.
Over to the Gauri, please.
Sir, in fact, we should be thanking you and not the other way around at all. This was a delightful experience, especially for all of us who missed those fourth and fifth talks. Also, only audios are available. So thank you so much, and thank you to the audience for participating in this program and putting up these lovely comments. We hope to see you next month in our monthly talk. Wish everyone a very happy Diwali.